One of the biggest names in basketball is coming to Australia to help launch the new NBL season. Six-time NBA champ with the Chicago Bulls, the one and only Scottie Pippen, will reunite with former teammate Luke Longley and be courtside for the season opener between Melbourne United and the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix on Thursday week. So for more on this, let's bring in NBL CEO Dave Stevenson. Dave, thanks very much for your time on Fox Sports News.
Luke, really appreciate you having me on.
So take me into how this idea of bringing Scottie Pippen out here for the NBL season opener actually came about.
Yeah, look, we're always thinking about ourselves as a pretty strong family proposition, and what do people love to do during summer? Get together and go and see some great entertainment in basketball. And in conversations with Luke Longley, who's a minority owner for the Sydney Kings, we thought, who's interested in NBL around the world? And Scottie's name came up, and Luke reached out, and we were staggered with the amount of knowledge that Scottie had about our league and the impact we're having. So it was a pretty short conversation.
In terms of Luke reaching out, I mean, how long did that process go for? What was the back and forth like?
Yeah, look, they're good friends, so they're in touch quite regularly. Scottie's never been to Australia, and they've been talking for a while about spending time together. And again, Scottie's interest in the NBL was very genuine and frankly quite deep. So it was a pretty quick process over the course of a couple of weeks. We extended that invitation, and Scottie was very pleased to attend.
Now, in a statement, you've been quoted as saying this is a massive coup for the NBL, which it is, to have someone of Scottie Pippen's standing and prominence in the world of basketball come out and represent our league and brand. So explain to me, what does represent the league and brand mean and look like?
Yeah, so Scottie will come and attend the first game, Melbourne United versus Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, which is already sold out even before we announced Scottie's visit. And he'll spend 4 or 5 days in Melbourne and Sydney attending a whole range of events as our NBL representative. He'll be talking about his love of the game and the league and where it's at, and obviously also some pretty amazing inside stories of his time with Luke, winning 6 titles and a couple of Olympic gold medals and certainly entering into the Hall of Fame. So Luke's passionate about bringing Scottie here. Scottie can't wait, and I think our fans are going to be in for a treat for when that season starts on the 28th of September.
It'd be great to see him out here, no doubt about that. But from a league perspective, why did you think it was actually needed?
Yeah, look, I think we always talk about the great pipeline of players who progressed from the NBL directly into the NBA. I think we're now up to about 23, 24 players. Last year in the NBA season, we had 13 players playing on court who played in the NBL. And so to have someone of Scottie's caliber, undoubtedly one of the greatest players who's ever played, want to come and spend some time and attend games and meet with players, just gives us another sense of credibility that the momentum we've got on court and off court is being recognised by one of the greatest players of all time.
Now, I imagine Scottie isn't doing this out of the goodness of his heart. I don't expect you to put a dollar figure on it. So let's say 10 is extremely expensive in terms of deals and 1 is not so expensive. Where does this deal fall on that scale?
Yeah, look, it's less than what you would think. I mean, certainly there is a commercial arrangement that's understandable, but it really came from a desire of Scottie to spend time doing 2 things, coming with his great mate, Luke Longley, but also seeing NBL firsthand. He's been watching it in the broadcast over in the US, but he wanted to come and see it firsthand. So we certainly didn't have to go and sell the farm to make sure he could come along. It ended up being, again, quite a good proposition financially.
Is this a multi-year thing? Are we just going to see him this year? Is Luke going to delve into his contact book every year and bring out a former teammate now?
Yeah, it's a pretty high standard that we've got to follow from here on in. So, yeah, look, Scottie's keen to come a couple of times, so we'll see Scottie come at a later date over the next 12 or 18 months again. But we love the idea that if there's players who have a genuine commitment and interest in the NBL to come and spend some time in Australia and help launch our season and frankly advocate for the great progress we've made, then feels like a pretty good model.
Have you heard from Melbourne United and Southeast Melbourne at all, and maybe what the phones in the front office were doing yesterday?
Yeah, it was really interesting. I mean, as I said, that game had sold out over 10,000 before we even announced this. I think they did ask whether or not they could fit in another 38,000 people, but it'll be jam-packed, and I think you'll know that every single person will be tuning into the broadcast on ESPN through Fox and KO, and also jumping onto the NBL app just to try and catch a glimpse of Scottie and his thoughts.
Yeah, no thought of moving it to Marvel or anything?
No. I think that the MCG is a little busy that weekend. That would be nice too.
Indeed. Dave, thanks very much for your time. Well done. It's a big coup. We look forward to seeing Scottie out here soon.
Great. Thanks, Luke. Take care.